Engineer Eric Brony. Eric, we are privileged to have one of the big bosses of the oldest mine in Ghana to be with us this evening. Manager, you are welcome.
Thank you, Robert.
And how have you been? It's been a while.
Robert, your line is breaking.
Okay, so let's move on to the subject. Eric, what are your thoughts on the subject and the question, qualification versus competence?
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, team. The topic is really interesting. If you are not careful, you'll be biased. Those of us who have been in the industry and we've tasted the good out of it, if you're not careful, you'll be biased. But I'll try as much as possible to handle the two sides clearly, but I'll make it very simple. I believe Engineer Naya has made profound statements there, and I just want to add to it. Most people who actually do away with academic qualification and just skew to workplace competence, personally, I believe they are being biased. And those who only concentrate on the academic qualifications, they are also being biased. I think the two go together. But let me touch first on the academic qualification. The academic qualification, it gives you or gives one the basic knowledge about the concept. Whatever concept that we are practicing in the industry, it started with the theory. And having the theory, if you want to put everything in practical terms, remember, the practical is something that was hidden. Somebody discovered it. It was written around it. So invariably, you measure this as something that is already there, but you've discovered it, and you are making the full package for whoever picks it up to be able to do it using the right processes and procedure. So the academic qualification gives one the basic knowledge about the concepts. Two, what I understand how academic qualification does, so it also gives one an entry to a workplace. So every company will want to employ somebody who has a little knowledge about their product or the services that they render. So the company will want to hire people who already have such knowledge. But if you don't have it, the company will not spend money to just bring somebody who is very green, doesn't know anything about what they are doing. They are not Father Christmas, so such things normally don't happen. So these are the things that academic qualification does. And if you are linking that to the industry, if you have this, yes, you have the upper hand when you are with somebody who hasn't been into the university, who doesn't have the degree, who doesn't have it. But the point is, they can earn you the job, but what can move you forward depends strictly on you. Okay, so there is something in my company we call how we measure performance and how we train talents. There are two basic things that we use. The first one we use in measuring one's performance is current applied capability. Current applied capability. We call it CAC. The components within applied capability are how you value the work that you are doing, the skilled knowledge you have on the job, and the complexity of information that you can process. And the last one is the required behavior you attach to the job. So this is what we mean by applied capability. This one will help anybody, if you are a manager or whoever, a supervisor you are, you'll be able to use to measure the capability or the performance of an individual. Now, you cannot use all these to measure an individual during an interview. When a person already has the academic qualification, the only thing that you can use to understand whether the person understands your product or the services that you render maybe the skilled knowledge, and even that one, it's what you see on the CV and you ask questions about them and they are able to answer. Maybe sometimes you may not be lucky. Some guys are brainy, they can chew things and they can just come and bomb, right? Those things will urge somebody to get a job. So you cannot measure all these components. You cannot measure an individual with all these components. How the person will value the job. The person must get into the workplace before you are able to understand that this guy values the job that he does. He is not late for job. He doesn't sleep at the workplace. When you give him assignment, the importance that he attaches to it, how fast he's able to condense information, how he's able to handle tasks that are given to him, how he's able to work under pressure, work within timelines, the behavior, how the person carry himself, the respect that he has for his job, he has for his subordinates and his superior and his colleagues. All these things come together to measure one's capability. But the point is, when you put all this together, it shows one's competence. Now remember, within the component that I mentioned, one critical point was complexity of information processing. This gives rise to the other component a manager or a supervisor will use to measure an individual, and that is current potential capability. Your current potential capability is the highest level at which a person could work. That is the highest level. The person may have the potential, maybe you have employed him as a supervisor or an officer, but as the person is working, you see a particular potential in that guy that he can become a manager in 5 years' time. He can become the MD. So the potential that he exhibits will be able to help you to understand where you put him. And that strictly goes to the competence of such a person. So I think I have dealt a bit on the academic qualification. Let me zero in on the workplace competence. When it comes to having gotten all the everything, now you are the job, you are the workplace. People are looking at you. You said you had this qualification. You said you had BA Commerce. You said you had BSc Mechanical Engineering, BSc Electrical Engineering, and whatnot. Whatever you learned at school, the lab work you did, the workshop that you were, things that you were doing, the project work that you did. You remember your lecturers always taught you all the theory, and the major things that you needed at the university were the practical things that you do at the workshop, you do at the lab, you do at the library, the practical questions that they were asking you, posing such practical field questions. Now you are going to use this to work so that your employer will get benefit from you. And that is where he's going to measure you. He gives you a task, and your complexity, how you analyze information, how you solve problems, you are going to put all these thoughts together and bring out solution. Now we put a test case to you. So a fresh university graduate, nobody, no employer expects you to know it all. But the basic things that we expect you to do, some people may not even come forth with. And that is what actually tarnishes the image of the qualifications and the people with degrees. It is not about that. If we talk about your current potential capability, it is the function of your complexity of information processing. You said that when we give you one book, you'll be able to read, understand, within 1 week, you can reproduce, okay? But the real issues of life that these books will solve, you are not able to bring it out. Then the employer will not see you as beneficial to the company. So you remember, two people with the same degree will enter into the workplace. They have gone for the interview, they have passed, and they come to the workplace. We give them the same assignment. One is able to finish within time. The other person will not be able to finish. He needs support. So it means that somebody has gotten ahead of you. What did you know that you didn't know? One, remember the knowledge that you had. That person is also having the same knowledge, but he is skillful. What makes him skillful? If you are a typist, you are able to type 1,000 words within few minutes. Maybe the same person who has the same qualification with you is able to type 1,500 words within few minutes, maybe lesser than yours. Who do you think the employer will want to retain? So if you want to progress at the workplace, it depends on your competence. And that is actually your complexity of information processing. How you value the work, the required behavior you exhibit, and the skills that you attach to the work. Now, let me break the competencies. The competencies, I have broken them into three major areas. We have technical competencies, we have functional competence, and leadership competence. As you are working in the industry, this is how we look at you. If you are able to exhibit this, at a point in time, maybe at a supervisory level or an officer level, we expect you to be more technical. The work that you are doing, you need to be strong. If you're a mechanical person, electrical person, HR person, the technicalities in your work, you need to bring them out. And the environment in which you find yourself, if you're in the mining environment, make sure that the technical competencies are not theoretical. You are able to work within the mining arena. If you are working in the oil and gas industry, you need to know the safety aspect of it. Attach this and practically you exhibit it. As you are working, your bosses will understand that yes, this guy is actually using the technical competence. Now, as you are going forward, we want you to demonstrate your ability to handle project or how you deliver activities. Yes, you are given a task, but you are able to condense the task within shortest possible time, and you are able to delegate to people under you. This is how we call functional competence. The other competence that I want to deal with is leadership competence. Now we want to see if we put you in charge of a crew or a team of officers, will you be able to handle them? Now we want to understand how you after using your technical competence, functional competence, how you build a sustained team. You have a team, there are conflicts. How are you able to resolve conflicts? You are able to model work behaviors for your subordinates. You do this, another person do that. The more you are able to do this, then we see that this guy, even though he came with a first degree, another person came with masters, but the first degree holder is able to exhibit technical competence, functional competence, leadership competence. So once the employer wants to have benefit from his employees, he will promote the person with exhibiting all these competence. And remember, all these competence naturally it comes. How he is valuing the work, the skills, the skill knowledge he has on the work, the complexity of information processing, his required behavior. So, Anglo Ashanti, when we are employing our role description, most of the time we put in our advert, we always state the required skilled knowledge, the qualifications, experience, and maybe statutory appointments. These things, we look at them critically. We want to know whether you have the right qualification, which is giving you the basic knowledge of the concept that we are talking about. That is why we also give people the chance to be shortlisted, and we interview them whether what they are saying in their CVs are really portraying what they can do. You come to the workplace, before you come, experience. Maybe you have it or you don't have. Some employers don't really attach more importance to experience, depending on the area they want you to work. The qualification, yes. Depending on the area that they want you to work, it's also important. But when you come to the workplace, the competence is what the employer will use to assess your performance, promote you, and take you high for him to see that this person can be a backbone for my company. So basically, the academic qualification and the workplace competence, they go together, but the academic qualification gives you the leverage to enter into the workplace, but the workplace competence will take you forward and take you far. So you will realize that when you come to the workplace, somebody may not have a degree, but because he can exhibit these capabilities, his applied capabilities, his potential capabilities, his complexity of information processing, this person may become your manager. Whilst within the team, we have a lot of degree holders, but they are not able to exhibit. But the point is, I believe that as long as you have the degree, you have the basic concept, you can be trained, you can be handled. But let me tell you, it is not all employers who will have this at the back of their mind. So as you are in the university or you have completed your education, you have completed your degree, whatever, graduated, you need to now bring all those things that you learned into the practical field. That these are the things that the employers will need from me. And when I get that, I will not just be an officer, I will not just be a supervisor, but I will be able to exhibit this competence and it will take me far. So within first 2 years, you are promoted. People will not understand why, but the reason and the secret is that you are exhibiting the competence. That is what the employer will always want to look at. So, Wilfred, I think this is where I would like to pause. And if there are any questions, I rather want to address it and end it from here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Eric Bruni.